is going to be done with the quietest voice possible. Today's date is August 21st, 2026. We're going to be focusing on the subject matter in the title here. It's obviously a subject matter that is relevant to a lot of people. So anyways, I'm going to continue to, at least for the purpose of putting out the content on a regular basis with one theme, it would then be that theme. And if that's the case, I'll be changing the title again. But because there's people here right now kind of doing conversational stuff, this is going to be very, very vanilla. This is going to be very, very vanilla compared to what you're normally used to getting. I'm taking it quite well. Alrighty. So I'm distanced myself from everybody so they can have their private space. So I came here to get my nervous system under control. And the first thing that I'm going to do is take off my sandals and start to ground with bare feet before even beginning to get into this. But yeah, there's been some tough moments here and there thinking about the cat. And it's been about a month now since the cat's been gone from this whole experience after 8 years. So I have to continue to visualize it in a good situation in Salida, where it jumped out of the vehicle in the Safeway parking lot, and then it went somewhere else. What I'd like to be able to do, the goal was to be able to attract people to this specific channel. And I have a lot of different interests, but when it comes to spiritual van dwelling or spiritual car camping, of course, we're not necessarily going to agree on everything. But I think spiritual is what I put emphasis on, because when you don't have that, you have, let alone racism, but you have alcoholism, you have drug addiction, you have problem people. You have people that are living robbing and killing, and there's also all different types of untreated mental illness, and a lot of people not even trying to heal from the damage. I'm going to talk a little bit, though, and it is connected to that. Talk a little bit about my experience here in Crestone, Colorado, which has been going on for a couple of months. And that's about the same time that I started the newsletter, right? So I rolled into town after being in Salida, Colorado for a while. I think I came around June. I'm not really sure for the first time. Sometime in June. Yeah, early June. And then there was an incident up on the hill there on the North Crestone Trail where a Jeremy Evans was stabbed in the face by a Chris Roberts, who ironically was released by the DA in Saguache County about a week ago, because the people that were interviewed by the police were not considered to be credible witnesses. All right. So there's been some positive things. So they came up today and they evicted everybody. And the people that have been up there, believe it or not, were up there for 7 months. What we can do is we can look at the positive aspects of that experience, certainly ones that I've had, but also the potential for other people to do the same thing in areas that are not heavily policed and to do something positive. But I would say, because of the lifestyle of inebriation, which I don't necessarily subscribe to, where people just keep going and going and going and going and going. Sometimes these adults, they act like children, essentially. I do want to pause and talk about one positive thing. The video regarding the pyramid of protection was shared at one point on Facebook. Because I uploaded it to Facebook and it was shared from my page to a group. So that's something to also remember, that anything can be shared to a group for better or for worse. And it can give people the opportunity to decide whether or not they want to check out that person's content or see what else that they're saying. And also on that Facebook page, I've been uploading the recent news reports that have been going out to Substack. They have not gone out to YouTube. One of them was actually pulled down due to a copyright strike. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I think there's some people meditating here. So, essentially, there's definitely some positive influences to the camping up there. While I was up there, I was thinking about how people could create their own like spiritual retreat without spending hundreds of dollars, and then just going to a spot and then changing the energy. So I have a lot that I'll say on that later. But what I will note is that, um, yeah, I'm going to be going to another campsite. So I'll be continuing the conversations here at the park. Right now, I've got my own little table and chair so I can create distance between myself and other people and try to lower the volume that I'm actually speaking so that I'm not, yeah. We're after the eclipse and we're heading towards a lunar eclipse. So there's, yeah, lots of emotional upheavals. And it is quite possible that I was meant to. Here's a positive thing. I'm gonna make a video after this, after taking a break. I just want to make this video. I want to draw to my channel people that are on the spiritual path that are car camping, that are in transition, or just people in general. But then again, I cover a lot of different topics. And then I want to get involved in doing live meditations and live streams in this park at a certain time. Is actually what I'm planning to do. Uh, yeah. This is like the better time of year to come to Crestone. Crestone's very famous around the world for a lot of. It's not just because of the documentary that came out from HBO that I've been talking about, but it is kind of like a magnet for people that are trying to tap into uh, internal wisdom through the silence. It's like the meditation may be more potent, is what I'm getting at. Like healing might be. That's why there's so many spiritual schools here, because it's the right environment and it's low in EMF radiation in comparison to other places, much lower. So fewer cell phones. And other great places to visit for spiritual work would include the sand dunes, and we're right in that zone. One could actually draw a map of must see places if they're to travel through the San Luis Valley, and maybe even make a suggested itinerary, suggested do's and don'ts for people that are trying to maintain their frequency. Because along the journey, part of maintaining it is people knocking it down, people trying to appear, saying things to, and so you could say that it's training ground for both spiritual, intellectual, and athletic capabilities. Colorado. That's what I would say. And then you have artists doing what they do, and then I do all those things, and I write like crazy. And my creativity's only begun. My brain's moving faster than I can actually write or move, which could be a disaster when I'm moving stuff because stuff can fall and break. So yeah, I did lose one subscriber today talking smack during the early morning stream, but that's okay. That is okay. It probably was not a significant connection. Um, so in the whole move from BLM, because BLM officers came up and basically told us leave now. Oh, they gave us 24 hours. I've only been up there a few days, but they came up with our names, meaning it was either the Swatch police or it was the town of Crestone. However, the people that were up there for a while have been the subject of a variety of controversies. In addition, I've been vlogging about it, blogging about it, podcasting about it. And I've been sending the content to the town of Crestone, which their headquarters are right here. I'm literally right next to their surveillance cameras right there. I'm sure they watch me on camera. I'm in their grid. It's fine. It's like a little. So I've actually been trying to get the louder podcasts under control. And it really seems like things were really ramping up with summer and the geomagnetic storms and the total solar eclipse, which is something I talk about a lot. The real effects of that. And so we're right in the window between the two, and it feels a lot better. But it is still very turbulent. 2 days ago, during a geomagnetic storm, I really felt it. And this part can feel, after you've been in it for a while, heavy. Bringing us back to a theme here, main theme, that through movement and going from place to place, it is a little bit, it could be challenging on the nervous system, but it can be healthy. Next to, daily rituals like breaking down your camp, and then, it can get old, and so can we. So it can be really trying to do when you're dealing with like a breakup and a lost cat, whether it be breaking down camp on a daily basis or a weekly basis. Then there are the types of things that happen along the road. Now, keep in mind that I feel like people that live, outside, or people that don't live conventionally, they can be pulled down vibrationally here and there through certain lifestyles and behaviors. Not to like say that it wants to be a purist, but certain things like drinking a lot can pull someone into a situation where they're kind of like stuck and down in a hole. On that note, I'm going to now turn my attention to the plight of them, because I've only been there for a few days. And so I got off with a warning. Those chicks are fine. Those women are fine. I don't think they can hear what I'm saying. I think I'm quiet enough. They're fine. That's why I'm trying to be real nice and polite. But earlier today, I was over there podcasting, and a couple of people were over there that were like charging their bike. The dude had like a mohawk on. Like the woman had like blonde hair, supposed perfect Nordic, and they're like staring me down. So I did a podcast for them and I uploaded it. Enjoy. So they were fined, but they weren't fined for camping. So I guess that's cool. That's cool. We're not yet that, but the future of BLM enforcement and just a crackdown on just fan life just seems scary. Sometimes I think maybe they'll let people like a tent city or some illegal like city build up to a point. They'll just come invade it. It'll be something like that scene from They Live. So these other guys that have been up there, the Irish guy that was interviewed on this channel that if you go back. So these other guys that have been up there, the Irish guy that was interviewed on this channel that if you go back to the earlier uploads, you can see our talk at the cloud station. So he got a ticket for $75. The other one may have gotten a ticket for registered, unregistered, or expired vehicles. So they don't have the money for that. So that's another issue. That is another issue with regards to just the whole plight, the whole movement. I am curious how many of you are still subscribed to me. If you want to leave a comment down below, it's just something that I'm curious of. And I'm curious if some people ever did subscribe or start watching the channel. I would put more effort into like certain types of content if the people were there. I could start summarizing right now. I'm going to take a deep breath, but it is through the West Side. What's up, my nigga? They're doing a drive-by. Anyway, gotta maintain my awareness. In fact, let me just switch it up here for a minute. I think I think I'll just go ahead and wing it. We don't have anybody watching right now, so I'm not going to put a lot of effort into it. But I'll just sort of start winging guided meditation. So just ground yourself to the center of the earth. Well, out of all the parks that I've been to in America, this is one of the more interesting ones where there are just certain things you don't have to deal with in this park due to the clientele, due to the demographics, and the kind of travelers that come into Crestone. So that, I'm probably going to be spending more time writing and reading and going deeper into meditation here rather than, say, Laurelhurst Park in Portland, where I'm from. Don't recall a whole lot of deep meditation, but walking around and around and around. A lot of deep contemplation. But the key theme there with regards to that would be the old growth trees. I don't see old growth trees right here, but there are trees of a certain nature, and due to just the nature of the land and other factors, they have a certain magnetism. They have certain qualities. The trees are going to be different. And there are some that believe that there's basically a vortex right over here, over by the T station here, which is over here, about 100 feet to my right. They think that there's a vortex right behind the. So people go back there, but my content's too out there for her. So after giving her my website, I pretty much stick to myself. Right. So anyway, we're going to go back to this campsite conversation. Just keep it going. But a few more subscribers would be good, and viewers. So I feel like people are benefiting from this, from chilling with me and me just taking the time to talk calmly. I don't think that I went on and 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 on quite like I have recently. It's true. It's enough to drive some people away. Yeah, but whatever. Okay, I could keep talking, but I'm actually not going to. I'm actually going to end it here. Let me just kind of come up with a conclusion. But if somebody want to engage with me in the future, that's possible. There's the potential of doing some live streams, putting out some positive intentions. There's a lot of different potentials. Planning to go to a new campsite at some point in the coming hours. We're at what, 2:30, 3 o'clock right now. Interesting looking guy with his motorcycle driving by. I get some cute chicks to my right. They're not chicks, females. Left. And then also, wait, to my right. And well, she's old. Anyway. Going to be a new experience. I think about the cat often. And it's just not conventional for the cat to be going through this. So yeah, new campsite's coming. And I don't even know if there's any space there. Or how in demand this place is. So we'll see. And I'll see you later.